of looks like Tristan.
Anyway, hello, hi, welcome again. We are back in another undisclosed location that was the same as last week.
No, we're half the country away now.
Yes, somewhere.
We just took the picture.
We took literally everything with us.
This is actually our set.
Yeah, this is our new set. This week we have Sean back again. Hello, hi, welcome back.
What's up?
Hi.
Ew.
Well, that brings us into our topic.
Yeah, that brings us into our topic. So I'm just going to give you the mics.
Reigns.
Well, I'll go into it, but I guess beforehand, I have questions for you guys.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So,
Butt stuff is great.
Highly recommend. Yes.
What have you guys experienced as far as homophobia has gone?
I personally have not really been on that end of the spectrum with it, surprisingly. The only thing that really was a thing, like from kindergarten up until probably the time I came out in 11th grade, everyone was like, in school, oh, well, are you gay? Are you gay? Are you gay? You act gay? You look gay? You're gay.
Look gay.
I'm like, no, I'm not gay.
Tristan went
And I was
same thing.
I was totally fine with it. Like, it wasn't offensive or anything to me.
Mhm.
It was just them being curious. And, like, at the time, I mean, being gay was kind of big. I mean, for our generation back then, it was just wild. But,
It was kind of like when it was becoming a lot more accepted. But
Right.
you still had a little bit of that holdover shit.
yeah, and there were, like, maybe one or two others that actually were out and gay in my grade or before me. But they never really had any issues or
No.
anything. I never really had any issues.
Are you from up here?
Mm-hmm.
We went to the same school.
Yeah.
Out of all places, too.
Fucking
I know, right?
dirty J.
Yeah, we were too busy doing other things. Smoking weed, cigarettes.
I was too busy just living my best life, minding my business.
Well, yeah, because like Tristan is 100% the reason why I'm like when I was younger, I was like, oh yeah, you're definitely born gay because I knew that kid was gay when he was like 3.
I tried to tell him. I held his hand
Yeah.
in 5th grade, but I'm like, you're gay.
So gay. Well, I mean, what really got me was like when you get to that age where little boys are like, I want dart guns and I want Tonka trucks, and he was like,
Yeah.
he wanted a vacuum cleaner and.
Look at that, so cute!
Yeah.
And he always plays with the girls.
Yeah, he wanted
always
the
plays
vacuum
with the
cleaner
girls.
and he wanted
I
like.
feel like you're gonna cry right now. Did you want a vacuum cleaner?
Yes!
Oh, yeah.
Like a kitchen set for a while. Yeah, so I'm like, oh, okay, that's definitely.
What is
They're just born that
That's
way,
so
you know?
cute.
I got
So it's a little eye-opening for, because that was a big debate back then, too, whether it was something you're born with or if it's just, well, that's what I prefer.
If it's
like,
choice,
well, yeah, exactly. It's
Still
like,
even
no,
up
I
in
think it's
arms
definitely you're
nowadays.
just born like
A lot of people
Yeah.
still do that. Will have that argument nowadays. I mean, because there's a lot of people that are like, "Ooh, I'm bi. Ooh, I'm this," and I'm like, "You just got drunk and you kissed a girl, so please slow down now. You're making the rest of them look bad. Like it's not
Right.
cute anymore.
Well,
They
yeah,
still do it.
Because nowadays, being anything other than straight's kind of become, like...
a thing.
Straight
Yeah,
hanging
it's
out
kind
so
of
much at this
chic. It's
point.
kind of like the new thing
Yeah.
for a lot of people, I think.
I've had issues.
Have you?
When I was working at the store was probably the
yeah.
biggest one.
Oh
Which
gosh,
store?
I remember this.
When I was working.
Yeah, I gotcha. Probably don't name them. That's smart.
probably a good idea not to.
Undisclosed location.
Undisclosed location, undisclosed store in town that we live in.
It's weird because the name's right in there. So.
Yeah. You'd think everyone would be very accepting.
Right.
So I had this customer come in. His phone was broken. It happened to be June. I always wear my Pride band on June. I also happen to be wearing my Pride shoes. And he came in, couldn't transfer his stuff onto his phone because he didn't know his password. Insisted that we knew his password. We don't know your passwords, people. Just get the fuck out.
Right. Why
Write them
would
down.
Write them down.
Write them the fuck down. And he got pissed off and threw his phone at me, called me a fucking faggot, and then like started getting into my face and was about ready to fight me. I was about ready to fight him. I just kept on telling him, like, sir, you need to leave the store. You need to leave. You need to leave right now. We had to say it 3 times before we could call the police.
Mm-hmm.
So I made sure I said it 3 times.
Really fast. Just get them out.
Yep, just get him out. And we have audio recordings in the camera, in our cameras. At this point, my district manager was there, and he came out, and he's like, he could hear me screaming, get the fuck out at this guy. I'm like, you need to fucking leave. And I don't, like, swear at customers ever. I don't swear at guests.
Very professional.
But, like,
he's in the front.
you need to get the fuck out. Like, we're about ready to have a problem. I also have one from the place that I currently work at.
Has it all been, like, in your work?
Yeah. Always. So it's always like, after that situation, I kind of like, okay, I need to leave my personal life at home. So I would never say anything about my husband. I would always say my significant other or my fiance, because at the time we weren't married yet. I'm like, my fiance.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't go and correct people because I'm like, I just don't want to deal with that. Like, this is my money and I don't want to get fucked with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I just kind of kept it separate. But this guy, he came in and threw his phone at me. It hit the table, bounced off, shattered. And, like, this is his insurance claim phone. So this is the new one he just got. And shattered it. Glass.
Sorry,
everywhere.
sir, you didn't have the insurance on that one.
Yeah. So, my district manager came out and he's like, what's the problem? What's going on here? And he just starts tearing into him. He's like, I don't want to work with this fucking faggot anymore. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He needs to be fucking fired. And it's just like, he's going off. And my district manager just looks at me like wide-eyed. He's like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, this. I'm just like, I'm almost confused.
I don't know,
Like, you
what
just need
is
to
going
fucking And
Oh, we just walked in here like this.
yeah, just walked in here like this. And my district manager's like, okay, you're done talking to him. You can talk to me now. And he's just started screaming and tearing into my district manager. And he's like, okay, you can leave now.
Mm-hmm.
And my district manager was big guy. And this is just like an itty bitty, like Kaylee size man.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
that's usually the ones that.
I wish
the
you would have
big
took his
words.
ass.
And then, like, this guy is like bigger than dad big.
Oh, that's fun.
Like a big dude.
Just tomahawk him out
Yeah.
of the parking lot.
So he's like, you need to leave, and he's like backing him out the door. And then his wife calls and she's like, hey, my husband was just in there. And I'm on the phone with his wife, like I'm talking to his wife. I'm the one who answered the phone. My husband was just in there, couldn't transfer, so I'm like, yep, he's no longer welcome in the store.
Mm-hmm.
You can come in here. And she's like, well, I'm sending my son down there. I'm like, that's perfectly fine. Your son can come in.
How far does the
But your
apple fall
husband
from the
needs to
tree?
stay in his fucking car.
All right.
Yeah.
And she's like, I completely understand, and I apologize. He should not have acted that way. He never acts that way. I'm like, sure, I always hear
I'm
that.
sure.
Right.
He doesn't usually say the N word. I
Blink
don't know.
twice
that.
if you're
Then his son
blink twice
comes
if
in.
you're safe. Yeah.
Then his son comes in wearing a fucking yarmulke. I'm like, that makes sense.
Oh
That
my
makes
God.
so much sense.
Mm.
They were fucking Jewish.
I was like, not the Jews though.
And then my other story for the current place I work at, this happened.
You knocked his dreidel over, you bastard.
This happened many years ago. This was before I started working at the store. This guy came in. We were on a really long wait, wintertime, 3-hour wait, fucking normal.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes in, and I put him on the wait list. He didn't show up, and I called him the first time. And then I put him back on the wait list. I'm like, you're next in line. He's like, well, I want my table now. I'm like, well, you're not going to get it. Sorry. Someone's already sitting there. You didn't show up when I texted you 3 times in the 15 minutes that we give you.
Right.
You can make it anywhere on property in 15 fucking minutes.
Right.
Anywhere. So I'm like, I just need you to get out of the way so my server can get through. Like, I have a server carrying a tray full of fucking food.
Right.
Like, can you scoot over here and we can continue our conversation? He's like, I can't move anywhere. Where do you want me to move? Because I'll move right through you, and grabs me and starts shaking me. And that was when you know who worked there. And he watched it. Watched it all go down. He went and just like chopped off his hands, like karate chopped off his hands.
As he should have.
He's like, you're done talking to him. You can talk to me and we can figure this out. And he's like, go anywhere, go smoke, go something, not in this building. You need to go. Because I was fucking shaking. I was probably 17 at the time.
Well, number one, you don't put your fucking hands on somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unhinged behavior.
And as a 17-year-old, I was a minor.
Right.
I wish you would have pressed
underage.
charges. I wish you would have. Well, there's your fucking lesson, motherfucker.
Yeah, 'cause
Don't
I think that
fucking do
goes
that
from
shit.
a misdemeanor to a felony real quick.
Yeah, very quick. Then my mom also has lots of stories too about being assaulted from the golf course.
Oh, I'm
Some
sure of all
guy
those
literally
drunk assholes.
some guy literally grabbed her, like pretty much fingered
Yeah.
inside of her fucking vagina like she was a fucking bowling ball.
Ew.
The hell?
Yeah.
Because they
People
wear
are
the
fucked
little skirts down there.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's disgusting.
And she's a tall girl.
That was
Her
that
skirts
was
are
like a
little short.
whole thing. She like didn't
They're
tell
skirts,
me for 2
but-
weeks. She didn't tell me for 2 weeks because she knew if I knew that I would have fucking flew down there and beat a bitch's ass.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's up with. I definitely feel like that happens a lot more with the older generation
Absolutely.
of folk
I
than
feel
the
like
younger
The people
people.
that
But
my issue was they were all older,
yeah,
like 60 plus years old.
which I think kind of leading into the story I was going to say, which kind of threw me off so much about it, was the guy was, my age. We were early 20s at the time. I think I was 20 at the time. And he was another short guy, so that does make sense. Maybe there's, I'm not saying correlation equals causation, but
What do they call it? It's like short man.
yeah,
Napoleon.
Napoleon complex.
There you go.
But yeah, it was, we were all standing in a big group, and I introduced him and I called him gay when I did it. That was a joke between buddies. It was a while ago, so cut me some slack. But, he got really angry immediately. He's like, don't ever say that shit to me. He got up in my face and was like, threw a real big, he got up into my chest. He got real fucking angry with me, going on about it. I'm like, all right, damn, dude, I was just fucking around. Like, I didn't really call you anything crazy here. And so later on, I was talking to him, and he was a Baptist, and he was really super religious. And I'm like, okay, well, so if it's a religion thing, why would that really, it's just disgusting. I hate it. It's disgusting. I don't even want to think about it. I'm like, well, don't think about it then. Like, I wasn't painting you a picture, motherfucker. But, right. Like, I could, but no. But yeah, so I said, well, from the religious standpoint, it still doesn't make sense because it's only mentioned kind of in the Bible once. I said, but you're covered in tattoos, and that's also mentioned in the Bible. Actually, I think twice. So wouldn't that make it twice as bad then?
What about
He's
these
like,
fabrics that the military uses?
Yeah, I wasn't even gonna get into that. I was he was covered in tattoos. What's that?
So I'd be like, wait, where are you?
Yeah, exactly.
We're in the military, bro.
But yeah, so he's like, well, it doesn't say that. So I looked it up, and I was going off the King James Bible because I grew up Roman Catholic.
Yeah.
But he goes, well, my church doesn't use that one. I said, okay, well, he told me what it was now. There's like 15 different versions of the Bible, so I don't remember. But in the version he told me to look up, it specifically said not to put tattoos on your skin. I said, so what is that? He goes, well, I just don't follow that one. I said, interesting how you can pick and choose on this. But when it comes to people being gay, that's a hard foot down. I said, even though it doesn't affect you.
Right.
Like, what does it matter? No one's saying that you gotta go fuck a dude. They're saying that sometimes dudes fuck. So, like,
It's okay.
as long as it's consensual, like, who cares,
Right.
you know?
Exactly.
But then it just became, like, I couldn't reason with them, so then I just got all of my friends on board to where we would relentlessly bully him every time we seen him, because if you called him the F word, he would have a physical meltdown and start tearing up and shit. And when you're a drunk 20-some-year-old with a bunch of other masculine guys, that's the funniest thing in the fucking world, especially since he's an asshole. So we would aggressively
Yeah.
bully him to the point to where, I had sergeants come to us and they're like, if you guys don't leave that fucking guy alone, we are going to... Basically, we would get an Article 15 the first time, which is kind of like a formal write-up. But it's kind of like getting a mild misdemeanor. It's kind of like getting a court thing. And then if we continued to do so, they were going to court-martial us. So I was like, well, I said, if this is the caliber of people that we want in our service, I said, maybe you should fucking court-martial me. Because you should be fucking going on why. I mean, what if that guy is gay and these guys got to be together and he finds out, he's going to leave that motherfucker for dead because he's got such hard, strong prejudice.
Yeah.
I said, if he hated black people like he hates gays, that'd be a big fucking problem. What's the difference?
There is none.
Right. So I just don't. And the religious argument just doesn't make sense because the first thing it says is that we're all born with original sin, right? And who did Jesus hang out with? Prostitutes, blind, people who were expelled from society. Are you better than Jesus? If you're a godly person but you think you're better than God, it doesn't really make sense to me. Because it says only let those without sin cast the first stone. But if we're all born with original sin, that basically means you can have your own opinions, keep them to yourself. So I just don't understand that. I'm glad that you guys really have an experience. I mean, other than with a few old fucks here, but I'm glad that for the most part you guys really haven't experienced anything like that.
Yeah.
I know I witnessed some of that kind of shit, when I was in high school. We're about the same age, aren't we?
You're a couple months older than me.
Yeah.
Damn, am I
Same
like
age?
the oldest
Yeah.
one in this room?
Yeah. You're an old bitch.
I guess so. God.
Thought I smelt that old skin.
I'm really the baby. Even Kristen's older than I am.
God damn.
He's almost 25.
Almost. Almost.
That's disgusting. 'Cause
Which
I'm
you-
10 years older than
Have you ever seen baby pictures of him?
I don't know if I have.
Fattest fucking baby you've ever
Oh,
seen in your life.
you're talking monkey.
He was like the size of this fucking tabletop. Big old warrior.
Aw,
Look
Tristan.
at my dad.
I remember at your dad's first wedding because you were just a little fuck back then, but we had you.
I told my
You talk
he's not
about
fat
me
now.
currently, bitch.
So you look good.
Not on my wedding.
You look good at your wedding.
Oh, I remember at his dad's first wedding, we were sitting. I was at the reception, but we were sitting. He had the Matrix on.
Yeah.
So that dates this a little bit. We had the Matrix
I love
on.
how you looked at me like
You remember those
I
days.
do. I
It's the first
do.
Matrix, and it just
Yeah.
came out on DVD.
And,
Oh my god.
And they had him propped up against, oh God, who was it? I don't remember who it was, but he just looked like a giant loaf of bacon.
Oh.
He's just a chunky little fella.
Did you see what my grandma posted about me yesterday? She did me filthy. Absolutely filthy. I'll show you after that. I'll show you. It's awful.
No, so
You had
I
one
ha-
incident with your great aunt,
oh yeah.
but that
Great
really
aunt.
wasn't like too bad. The Facebook group thing.
What?
The Facebook group thing. She added you to like one of her church groups.
Oh, that was the one that went to our wedding.
Yeah.
That wasn't anything to do with that though.
She was just like, he has.
No, I
She
hadn't.
was
Her brother, my grandma's brother,
Maybe
unfriended
she
me on
is.
Facebook when
Oh.
he saw that I was married, but I don't give a fuck about him. He's an asshole anyway. She doesn't even talk to her siblings.
But
No.
usually that makes sense.
Yeah. No, what I was going to say was I've noticed, because I actually went through that before I actually came out, there was a lot of times to where them asking me if I was kind of did bother me.
It felt more mean.
And it felt
Yeah.
more mean, but then also...
Like, what are you, gay?
Yeah,
Dude, are you
kind
gay?
of like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of like that. It kind of upset me a little bit.
Yeah. 'Cause
But-
it's almost like a...
And then I was like getting on the defensive about it, and it's
Yeah.
like deep down, oh yeah, for sure, I know I'm gay. I've known since I was 4, but it was just that front that I was putting off, and then I realized afterwards, it's like, oh well, these people, they have such an issue with it. are they actually like kind of thinking it or kind of knowing it? Are they going through the same thing I went through? So it's an interesting thought, because I think that when people have a major issue with something, like regardless,
They're harboring some of the feelings themselves.
they're deep down like, oh well, maybe I am.
Well, so that was kind of the whole preface with why we started it, because I'm like, he also had when we weren't in uniform, had a very similar style to Tristan. So I'm like, this guy might just be a little gay, and that's why coming from a family that's clearly extremely religious, and the Baptists, for whatever reason, are always really banging that anti-gay drum. So I'm like, maybe he's just like super repressed, and that's why he has such a visceral reaction to a relatively innocuous statement.
Check out episode 3 of this season.
He did. He watched it. He told me.
Yeah.
But so, what took you so long to come out? Was it just fear of like people bullying you, or
No, it was my mother.
or just your mom? She wasn't super big on No.
Nope. And which is so funny too, because I've talked to her about this. I know she watches it. She didn't talk. I've talked to her about this, but she was watching a show called Queer as Folk.
Say that again.
Queer as Folk.
Queer is folk or queer,
Queer
as
as
folk?
folk.
Queer as folk.
Queer
Okay.
as Folk. It was a show on from like 2000 to 2005, and it was basically Game of Thrones, but real life and gay.
Okay.
So literally gay sex everywhere.
Was there a lot of gore too?
No,
Oh well.
minus the gore. But
Well, you lost me. I was in. Now I'm out.
it was like Game of Thrones minus the fantasy, real life minus the gore.
Okay.
All the sex, but same sex.
Okay.
So she was informed. She knew about it. She told me later that she had multiple gay friends, so she knew about it regardless.
It's like, Ma, you watch the Bravo channel. What do you do?
Yeah. So it was more that, and just because of where my family comes from, not like religious or anything, just point of views and opinions. They are very, I don't know what the word is.
Kind of old-fashioned.
Old-fashioned, narrow-minded, single opinions. It's this way or no way or whatever. So, not that my mom was like that. She was very intimidating as a kid, and we never got along growing up. So when I first came out, I told her I was bi, and she's like, oh, it's just a phase. It's fine. It's just a phase. Whatever, you'll grow out of it. So I'm like, okay. Okay.
That's what you think.
I'm like, okay. So not even a year later, I came out as full-on gay. I'm like, so by the way, just wanted to let you know I'm gay. Slept with the neighbor guy. Multiple times. And then I was like, I am also in a relationship with my partner. And she's like, okay. Didn't talk to me for a week. Stopped talking to me. Living at
in
home.
the same household.
Living at home.
God,
Didn't
that
talk
was
to me for a
miserable.
week.
How'd you communicate? You just didn't?
Didn't. I completely avoided everything. And my stepdad at the time, he was like, you know what? I appreciate you that you came out. I love you no matter what. You do you. And after the fact, maybe like when I was talking to her about it, she was like, well, the only thing I was mad about you coming out was how people were going to treat you and the fact that I was not going to get grandkids. I'm like,
Adoption's a thing.
yeah. And she knows that because we have adoption in our family.
And toss it to someone else.
And now she's like, now she doesn't even care that we're not having.
Yeah, now she's like the complete opposite and doesn't even give a fuck. But my family was a majority of the reason why I didn't come out.
Okay.
Because my aunt actually was mad at my mom, and they had this huge fight about how I didn't tell her that I was gay. It's like, bitch, that's none of your
I was gonna say, it's not your
issue.
business, though.
That's not your business. If I was going to tell you, and she was another reason why I didn't really want to come out, because she had, when I was little, used to play with Barbies. And every time she would come over, she was like, to my mom, he's not supposed to be playing with that. Why are you letting him do that? Yeah. My family's just,
Would it be okay if it was a Ken doll?
maybe.
What if it was G.I. Joes? They're basically the
Maybe.
same thing. I played
Yeah.
with those all the fucking
Oh,
time.
then they probably
If
wouldn't
I'd had
as
Barbies,
much.
They probably wouldn't worry so much, but at the same
And he's
time,
also trying to vacuum the floor, so I mean, there's signs.
yeah, I was trying to vacuum the floor. So, I mean, if those signs weren't a
He
thing,
didn't ask for a BB gun. He asked for a Dyson. I don't know.
I asked for a Dyson too.
I asked for a Dyson, but I didn't get it. I got him some cheap.
Weird that
I got a
fucking
Dyson.
toddler didn't get a $400 vacuum.
He's like, oh, I got it.
I got a Dyson.
I didn't get a Dyson.
I got a what was the other one? Daredevil too.
Oh my
The
god.
red ones?
That's what I got.
Daredevil.
Daredevil.
Yeah,
Okay, he got me a red Daredevil.
Yeah.
My god.
He was just fucking zipping around.
Fun fact: my nephew
I'd throw shit on
wanted
the
a vacuum for Christmas
Yeah, but you're
back in the day.
Yeah. Get
I'm like, this is why we connect.
I think my brother is a closeted gay, and not in a good way. He's
Which
like,
one? Oh yeah, no, you and I have talked about
yeah, I
that.
was
He's
gonna
gay.
say like every ex-girlfriend of his has been like, he messages guys, and he's like, I ain't no gay man. I'm like,
Well, now he's getting plenty of it.
It's like, try it. So,
yeah.
give it
But
a
then he
go.
calls me and he's like, do you have any bored friends? I'm like, none that would talk to you, Toothless Betty.
Oh my god.
So
Could get veneers. Just get really
He doesn't
obnoxious
wear
like
them.
ones.
He would-
he had the
Yeah.
does he never fucking wore
He had
them.
so much dental work done. He didn't even wear them. Like, oh. You want to know why he lost his teeth? Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew.
Ugh.
You know how much
Literally,
fucking
he
Mountain
didn't
Dew this
drink
cook?
water.
He doesn't drink water or brush his teeth.
Yeah.
Christ, well that'll do it.
Yeah, well,
I drink Mountain Dew, but I drink water too, and tea, and fucking brush my teeth.
I was
Sure.
gonna say that.
Gargle with whiskey.
That kills everything. It's fine.
Right.
So I had a question, I guess. I think I actually asked Jamie this, my cousin Jamie, who's been on the podcast before. So were there a lot of out people in the military?
Way more than
There?
you'd think, yeah. Yeah.
So were they
They made a whole joke about people
No,
that
actually,
already go into the
were they
Navy.
like
Come on.
accepted?
Yeah, it was, there were, I knew quite a few that were pretty outwardly gay. And no, people really, I mean, there was, like, the military kind of gets a bad rap because especially in, like, pop culture and shit movies, it's all super masculine, macho guys running around doing, just being fuckheads.
Shooting guns.
Yeah, which, I mean, I do all that stuff too, and, but, I don't know. Honestly, you'd probably be surprised. Most of the people that I knew in the military were pretty nerdy, really poor, and that was kind of like their option. Kind of from a backwoods nowhere town with no job prospects, so they join up. Or they were just like super patriot guys, but they were just kind of goofy, dumb guys that kind of harmless. But yeah, there was a lot of just nerdy guys. Like there was most posts have like Magic the Gathering like buildings for people to go into and shit like that. Yeah, so
That's kind of cool.
yeah. So, but no, there was, yeah, and they weren't really, not that I ever seen treated poorly. Most honestly, at least the time when I was in, so 2013, 14.
Yeah,
it
by
wasn't.
that point,
It really wasn't
Don't
bad.
Tell really wasn't a thing anymore.
No, and honestly, I think a lot more of that was just coming from old guys at the top who were making the rules. I don't think the rank and file really gave a shit.
Yeah.
No one that I hung out with gave a shit, and I hung out with kind of a little bit of everyone, just like I still do. So no, I wasn't, and honestly, the military really isn't as hyper masculine as you would think either. Like it's, especially when you're there all the time. Like at first, going through basic training and stuff, when they're drilling everything into your head. When you get to your unit, it's basically just a job where you wear camouflage. So pretty much like a job up here. If you don't have a uniform, So yeah, it really, most people were pretty just normal, accepting people. Just that drank a little too much in general. That's about it.
What else is there to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Especially where I was at, they had me stationed in Arizona. There was not a ton to do, like right down by the border, but we weren't allowed to leave. So, we're the country. So, the next closest would be Tucson, but it was like an hour drive. And with the unit I was in, you couldn't be more than I think 100 miles from post.
Wow.
Without a pass or anything like that, because if we got called back for anything, because we were kind of like a quick reaction, so we have to be deployable within an hour or something like that. So, but other than that, it was just like a normal job, relatively normal people, but everyone kind of looked out for each other because you're doing the same thing. It does have that patriotic kind of thing to it. So everyone just kind of looks at each other like brother or sister kind of thing. So it didn't really, like, there were a few exceptions, but there were exceptions, like the guy I just was talking about, but he was the only person like that I met in there. No one else gave a shit. Like, I remember once me and a few of my buddies went to the gay bar in town, just because we were in shape, so we figured that maybe we'd get some free drinks.
Yeah.
Like, you think we'll get drinks? Like, yeah, let's go to the gay bar, dude. I got a couple free beers, and that made me feel pretty good. I was like, yeah, damn right.
You can't do that now, though. You don't look the way.
Yeah, I know. I'm not passable anymore.
Huh.
I was a lot skinnier back then. Skinnier and baby face.
All right, we're about 30 minutes now.
Okay.
Half an hour.
Yeah.
Yep, 6 o'clock.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Well, bye.
I gotta go.